Alright, let's dive right in. Number 10. Never elevate the running mower to manicure hedges. Believe it or not, an individual genuinely convinced themselves that their humble lawnmower could perform dual duty as a sophisticated hedge trimmer. Picture this. A brilliant Saturday morning, the hedges are wildly overgrown, the proper shears are defunct, but the buzzing engine of the mower sits right there. This ingenious soul elects to hoist the powered-up machine skyward to address their shrubbery problem. Try to visualize wrestling, a device that amounts to a swarm of enraged wasps wrapped around rapidly rotating blades. It is akin to attempting to style a cat's fur mid-seizure. That engine whirls its cutting edges at roughly 3,000 revolutions per minute, RPM. That is rapid enough to atomize human flesh into confetti, and that is precisely the outcome. The person sacrificed multiple digits quicker than one can misplace the television remote between the couch cushions. Rather than acknowledge the monumental idiocy of treating a lawnmower like a styling tool, they initiated a lawsuit against the manufacturer. Their core defense? I was never explicitly warned against this activity. This logic holds the same weight as declaring, nobody forbade me from using my microwave as a sunbed. Consequently, manufacturers must now affix warnings advising us to keep mowers away from hedges. Number 9. Do not insert clothing accessories while they are being worn. Contemporary paper shredders possess a mechanical grip exerting approximately 40 pounds of pulling force. Envision an over-caffeinated toddler violently yanking your tie, except this toddler has a steel jaw and zero capacity for compassion. Your neckwear hangs innocently when the shredder snatches it up with the velocity of a canine lunging for a dropped frankfurter. Instantly, you find yourself being dragged headfirst toward an apparatus capable of reducing plastic credit cards to fine dust. This exact scenario occurred frequently enough that mandated manufacturers to include a dedicated warning decal. Yet, the danger extends beyond ties, necklaces, scarves, floppy sleeves. Anything dangling becomes an open invitation for mayhem. One corporation faced litigation because its machine attempted to give a customer an unplanned, aggressive haircut. The individual leaned down to retrieve a dropped sheet of paper. Their hair cascaded into the intake slot, resulting in the planet's most forceful salon treatment. Following that event, manufacturers integrated sensors designed to detect proximity to living material. These operate by sensing the natural electrical current within the human body. However, if you are wearing shoes with rubber soles, you are effectively invisible to the shredder's supposed safety protocols. If you've watched this far, please give me a like and subscribe. Since I lost my old channel, I truly need your support. Alright, let's continue now. Number 8. Refrain from ingesting glow sticks. Inside these novelty items resides hydrogen peroxide contained within a slender glass vial. When the stick is flexed, the glass fractures, allowing the peroxide to combine with other compounds, triggering a chemical reaction that generates light. This phenomenon is scientifically known as chemoluminescence. Nevertheless, thousands of individuals persist in trying to consume these products every 12 months. Poison control hotlines are inundated with calls originating from intoxicated university students and inquisitive toddlers who have bitten into them. While the constituent chemicals are not fatal, they will render your mouth feeling exactly as if you were gargling with the devil's private reserves of chili sauce. A particular man famously took a bite out of one glow stick, hoping to make his mouth illuminate for a viral TikTok video. He achieved an emergency room visit, a severely scorched palate, and a deflated sense of self-worth. Even household pets are not immune to this brightly colored allure. A dog once devoured an entire grouping of glow sticks, believing they were sausages that inexplicably radiated light. The animal lived, but his feces glowed in the darkness for 7 days. The owner commented that nighttime walks became notably more stimulating. Number 7. Not recommended for use in dentistry. This particular advisory appears prominently on instruments such as powered drills. Its existence is necessary because people have genuinely attempted to execute their own oral surgery at home. The typical internal monologue goes something like, dental professionals utilize specialized drills. I am in possession of a drill, therefore I am qualified to perform dentistry. This is equivalent to arguing that because airline pilots use seats and you own a chair, you are thereby capable of piloting a commercial jet. Genuine dental turbines rotate at speeds approaching 400,000 revolutions per minute, RPM, and are precision engineered for tooth structure. Conversely, the standard household power drill operates around 3,000 RPM and is designed for construction materials like drywall. Employing a construction tool on your teeth carries the significant risk of boring directly through the gum line, breaching the jawbone, and inducing colossal infections. Physicians in the emergency department routinely witness the catastrophic aftermath of these ill-conceived do-it-yourself procedures. Number 6. Avoid ironing garments while wearing them. In 2002, a university student residing in Michigan concluded that pressing his shirt while still having it on would be an effective time saver. His reasoning was straightforward. Why waste precious moments removing the shirt, pressing it flat, and then redressing when the entire process could be consolidated? The heating element inevitably slipped, transforming his morning preparation into a frantic rush to the nearest emergency ward. He then attempted to sue the iron's manufacturer for failing to specifically caution him against this particular application. Rather than expending resources fighting the case in court, the corporation opted to simply include the warning label. They calculated this was the more financially prudent route compared to managing subsequent litigation. As a result, every iron sold today bears this particular caution, forever cementing this gentleman's highly questionable judgment into history. Number 5. Not intended to serve as earplugs. Back in 2006, a Minnesota resident was engaged in home refurbishment when his neighbor commenced loud lawn mowing at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning. While the average person might reach for standard acoustic ear protection, this man devised a radically different strategy. He observed the container of expanding insulation foam in his grasp and resolved to utilize it as a noise-blocking agent. Be advised, a minuscule droplet of this foam swells to the volume of a standard golf ball once situated inside the human auditory canal. The foam expansion was so comprehensive that he was immediately taken to the emergency room. Medical staff were compelled to literally chisel the solidified compound out of his ears. Furthermore, since expanding foam generates heat during its curing process, his ear canals were, quite literally, being thermally treated. Following this singular event, companies producing foam sealant began incorporating the specific caution, not for use as earplugs. Number 4. Do not attempt to climb into this appliance. In 2019, an individual at a laundromat in Wisconsin seemingly mistook the spinning drum for an enjoyable amusement ride. The local fire department was required to completely disassemble the apparatus to extract him. In 2017, a university student in Taiwan entered a dryer cavity on a dare. His companions subsequently shared the footage online, captioning it "human spin cycle." He remained trapped for 20 minutes before aid was summoned. However, the most alarming washing machine incident occurred in London. This person not only voluntarily entered the machine but persuaded a friend to activate the wash cycle. His objective was to capture compelling footage for social media dissemination. The rescue team ultimately had to employ the jaws of life to retrieve him, despite the fact that he was demonstrably sober when he initiated the decision. This warning also exists due to children, who occasionally view washing machines as miniature spacecraft. There have been dozens of recorded instances of minors climbing inside during games of hide-and-seek. Number 3. The practice of drop starting. A chainsaw is strictly prohibited. This advisory exists because a sufficient number of people actually attempted this technique. A drop start is functionally similar to trying to ignite your vehicle by shoving it down an embankment and leaping into the driver's seat as it gains speed. In this variation, individuals grasp the chainsaw with a single hand, yank the starting cord with the other, and rely on gravitational force to initiate the engine. It's conceptually similar to juggling razor-sharp knives while simultaneously riding a monocycle. The moment the engine catches, the saw begins to whirl uncontrollably, transforming into a motorized harbinger of chaos, performing its own violent, freestyle dance, usually settling at dangerous leg level. One man attempted this specific maneuver and ended up engaging in an unwanted cha-cha dance with his own thigh, courtesy of the rotating chain. Another individual believed he could execute a drop start while balanced precariously on a ladder. He did not require the ladder to assist his descent afterward. The correct procedure is straightforward. Place the machine on solid ground, stabilize it by inserting your foot into the rear handle, and pull the cord. Yet someone, somewhere, decided their method was superior. This is why their leg now appears to have been haphazardly vandalized by a profoundly inebriated tattoo artist suffering from severe tremors. Number 2. Warning: contents are served at high temperatures. This label stems from the infamous 1992 case involving 79-year-old Stella Liebeck, who spilled McDonald's coffee onto her lap while seated in a parked vehicle. At the time, McDonald's served its coffee at an excessive 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. For context, this temperature range is sufficient to induce third-degree burns within a mere 3 to 7 seconds. In contrast, coffee prepared at home typically measures between 13.5 and 140 degrees. The scalding liquid saturated her attire and was held against her skin. She sustained third-degree burns across 6% of her body, specifically involving her inner thighs and genital area. She required complex skin graft procedures and spent 8 days hospitalized. Her medical expenses totaled $10,000. Initially, she requested only that McDonald's reimburse these medical costs. The corporation countered with an offer of $800. During the subsequent trial, evidence revealed that McDonald's had documented over 700 customer reports of burns related to their coffee in the preceding decade. Some of these injuries were inflicted upon infants and young children, but McDonald's calculated that providing settlements was more economical than reducing the temperature of their product. The jury was so incensed by this corporate negligence that they awarded Ms. Liebeck $2.7 million in punitive damages. This sum was later reduced to approximately $500,000. McDonald's eventually lowered its brewing temperature. Thus, we now encounter mandatory hot beverage warnings everywhere, not because consumers are inherently foolish, but because a large company deemed the repeated burning of its customers merely an acceptable operational expense. Number 1. Never conduct repairs beneath a vehicle supported exclusively by a mechanical jack. This advisory was considered self-evident until it resulted in the fatality of Dave from Minnesota. On a frigid morning, he was attempting to change his oil using only the fragile, factory-supplied jack that came standard with his automobile. The device appeared steady. The car remained static. However, these basic jacks are not engineered to sustain the weight of a vehicle for extended periods. Their sole purpose is to elevate the car momentarily so that robust, permanent jack stands can be correctly positioned underneath. These lifting mechanisms can fail within moments, offering absolutely no advance notice, no warning creaks, only an abrupt, silent collapse. When 2 tons, 4,000 pounds of steel instantly descend, the laws of physics are entirely indifferent to your level of experience with vehicles. In 2019 alone, 77 individuals perished from vehicles falling on them. The majority of these fatalities occurred during routine, simple maintenance tasks like fluid changes. Being crushed by a car is not an instantaneous death. First, your ribs fracture, which then proceed to pierce your lungs. You essentially experience a slow drowning while being simultaneously flattened. Jack stands, the inexpensive equipment that would prevent this horror, cost around $30 at any automotive supply outlet. Dave managed to save $30 on the essential safety equipment, but the subsequent funeral costs incurred by his family amounted to $10,000. That concludes today's presentation. I plan on producing related content in the future. Please ensure you subscribe to view them.